Welcome to Jason as a Social Scientist. I'm clean as a whistle. Shower number 253. Dang it, dang it, dang it, dang it, dang it. Alright, how about we dang the dang show first? Dang it, 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 dang it. Hello everyone. Alright. Spread me like a virus. Hey there, Jessica. Welcome to Jason is a Social Scientist. Alright, 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 alright. Let's see. And Acid Math and Incubus. NYC. And let's go to Worlds. Damnation. Alright. George's Ganja Lounge and live streams the page. And Go Go Gadget. Echo Chamber. Hey Drayton. Hey Jennifer. Hello, hello everyone. Dang it, 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 dang it. Woo-hoo. Oh, have fun, Tisha. Have fun. All right, all right. There we go. All right, all right, all right, all right. Dang it, dang it, dang it, dang it, dang it. All right. Oh, Drayton, get some rest, man. Get some rest. All right, now for a little communion. Hey, Sharon. Mickey Martin. Good morning, Laura. That's what we pay our internet for you. Oh, thank you, Francisco. Oh, you're too kind. Alright, 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 alright. Dang it, dang it, dang it, dang it, dang it. David's back. I have a doctor's appointment today, Sharon. I'm getting clean for the doctor's appointment. Dang it, 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 dang it. I might talk to them about switching my medication. I might switch from Biktarvy to Jaluca. Hey Sarah, welcome, welcome. Communion, communion. All right. Time to get naked. Time to get naked. I have to hurry. We don't want to be late. No, the other meds are working, but I was reading they can be associated with weight gain, and I have gained a little bit of weight since I started. So I don't know. I'm gonna just. Plus, Jaluca contains. It's the only approved treatment for HIV to contain only 2 medications, and all the other pills that treat HIV contain 3 medications. And I figure 2 medications are less likely to have side effects than 3, right? I don't know, maybe not, but no. It's good to see you, Sharon. All right, time to get naked. Time to get naked. We do have a lot of toys here, Jacqueline. We do have a lot of toys. Alright, time to get naked. Time to get naked. All right. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. I'm tied up in knots. Dang it! Ah! Damn it! damn it. God damn it. Alright, I'm gonna be late now for my damn appointment. All right. You gotta hurry now. Dang it, the heck. We're gonna be late for a very important date. Alright, time to get naked. Time to get naked. Woo-hoo! Alright. Have to pee. No, look. Alright, time to get wet, time to get wet. What time is it anyway? How many minutes after the hour is it? And rinse and rinse and rinse and rinse and rinse and rinse and rinse. Rinse and rinse and rinse and rinse and rinse and rinse and rinse. Wash and wash and wash and wash and wash and wash and wash. Shampoo. Shampoo. Thank you, April. Thank you. And Laura, thank you. Scrub. All right. And rinse and rinse and rinse and rinse and rinse and rinse and rinse. Rinse and repeat. Yep, Central Time for me. I'm in Wisconsin. Alright, now rinse and repeat. Lather, lather, lather.
Scrub and scrub and scrub and scrub and scrub and scrub and scrub.
Alright, rinse. Rinse and rinse and rinse and rinse and rinse and rinse and rinse. Hey there, Rita. April's in West Virginia. Nice, nice. Alright, now. Rinse and repeat. Now we now lather, 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 lather. I have a doctor's appointment today. Dang it, dang it, dang it, dang it, dang it. Alright, rinse and rinse and rinse and rinse and rinse. This is my HIV doctor. Alright, repeat, rinse and repeat. Now, lather, lather, lather. Would you rather lather with Dan Rather? Or your friendly social scientist? Scrub and scrub and scrub and scrub. Boys come on every once in a while. Laura doesn't really like to be on camera. So, just see her walking across the screen sometimes. What do I do? I always what now? And scrub and scrub and scrub and scrub. Scrub and scrub and scrub and scrub and scrub and scrub and scrub. Clean as a whistle. Don't blow me. All right, clean as a whistle. Nice, making videos. I'm clean as a whistle, don't blow me. How can you be really certain I'm naked? Doesn't everybody shower with their underwear on? Gotta make sure those underwear are thoroughly dry too. You bet, Sue. You bet. What does it look like I'm blowing Esther? What do you know about it? Where are you going? What time is it? Good morning, Lindsay. Thank you. you, Laura. I have a doctor's appointment. Oh, this is part of the show, Sky. This is part of the show. Woo, I'm clean as a whistle. Have to be there at the top of the hour. Mostly melted. We still have some. Hey there, Lizzie. I wouldn't think Jesus, I'd take Mark Zuckerberg. Hey man, killer. right, feast your eyes as I moisturize. I'm clean as a whistle. Come below me. I'm clean as a whistle. Come below me. Feast your eyes as I moisturize. Woo. Good, good, April. Sarah Zabby doing good. All right. Hey Ashton, good to see you. Some Irish oils. It makes great lube, Brandon. I never liked the taste of coconut, but you can develop a taste for it. Given the right circumstances. Alright, dang it, dang it, dang it. Oh. The human body's not creepy, Brandon. Alright, dang it to heck. Oh, hold still. Alright, now we just need some underwear. Gotta hurry. I can feel it. Okay, this show is replete with oral hygiene. I'm clean as a whistle, now replete with oral hygiene. Thanks, April. All right. All right. Good morning, Cindy Lou. Oh, I love you, Ashley, and your husband too. Oh, thank you, Taylor. Likewise. Oh, we gotta hurry. There's where. Yeah, I have a doctor's appointment. All right. Now we need some pants. Dang it. Of course it exists, John. You think I'm lying to you? Oh, we're late. We gotta go. Dang it. These we'll have to do. Going to the doctor, Katie. Hello. I'm gonna take the minivan if that's all right, or do you want me to take the other car?
You're coming right back, right?
Yeah. Son of a... Find the dang selfie stick. Can't find anything. It's mostly turned down, and Laura's home too. So. All right. Dang it. Okay, we gotta go. I know, we're late. Probably used to it. They're probably used to that with me by now, though. So we got freezing rain that froze into. It's so slick right now. The white part is really like glare ice. Hey, Gemma. Hey, Gemma.
Of opioid painkillers, and you quote from a patient in clinical rationale here that where Purdue's actually saying this can happen to anyone, this being addiction, from a 50-year-old woman with chronic lower back pain. I'm thinking we'll call her Barry here just a second, or Bob, to an 18-year-old boy with sports injury, from the very wealthy to the very poor. Barry Meyer, jump back here just a second, or Bob, to an 18-year-old boy with sports injury, from the very wealthy to the very poor. Barry Meyer, jump back in here. Again, Project Tango did not go through. First read about,
It was better that they sell those drugs, perhaps.
Right.
Or sell those drugs in addition. You know, I think sort of, just to comment on the Purdue statement there, you know, the kind of legal rope-a-dope of we're only responsible for 2% of this. That may be today. I think as the Attorney General pointed out, they wanted to be as responsible for as much opioid use in the medical sector as humanly possible.
We should be back
when
now.
They launched OxyContin. And I think it's imperative to remember that this company lied. It lied to doctors, it lied to patients, and while there has not been evidence produced to date that the Sacklers signed off on those lies, or that they were necessarily aware of those lies, it's somewhat difficult to conceive of a situation where they were not aware of the material that was being used to promote OxyContin, the illegal actions that were being used to promote OxyContin, because according to Attorney General's complaint, they were micromanaging the company. So why weren't they micromanaging it back in the early 2000s when the company was flagrantly violating federal law?
Okay, so Attorney General Healy, let me turn back to you on this, because this is something I want to explore with you. As we were mentioning earlier in the hour, in 2007, as you well know, Purdue Pharma reached an agreement with the federal government, with the Department of Justice, for a $630 million settlement about, potential criminal allegations, not only for Purdue Pharma, but individual executives as well. Part of that agreement included a corporate integrity agreement. I mean, Purdue is pointing to this in its own statement in response to your lawsuit. Now, so basically what Purdue is saying is, hey, look, between 2007 to 2012, we as a company had to regularly file reports with the Office of the Inspector General about our business practice. Annual reports to a designated monitor. They engage in an independent review that's about specific elements of Purdue's compliance program with the agreement they reached with the federal government. So Purdue here is basically saying they have been closely monitored by government organizations for years now. So it's ludicrous to think that the federal government would miss all that you have allegedly unearthed in your complaint. That there's no bad business practice here. The feds have been watching over them.
Well, I just want to be clear.
So what am I going to bring up with the doctor? I want to...
We put together a complaint. It is based on
get
actual
my bone density
documents,
tested.
emails, board memos, presentations, marketing materials,
Maybe
and
my
the like. Much of
testosterone level tested.
lays out the story of what happened since that conviction in 2007. And it is
I'm not talking about
what
possibly
we allege
switching
is it is clear from the documents
meds.
and the evidence that this company continued its bad practices. The Sackler family was directly involved in sales and marketing efforts and continued to, as was noted, reap $4 billion in revenue from the sale of Purdue opioids after that agreement was signed. So, what is important to me as I sit with and
probably not today,
so
Laura.
many families here in Massachusetts
I have in the
affected
past,
by
but
this,
I don't know.
is that the
I
facts
usually
come
sneak
to
you
light
in there,
and we
but
get justice and accountability. That's something
I'm
that
just
didn't
not feeling
happen
up to
in
it today.
2007. This conduct continued, and we will continue to be aggressive in getting to the truth. That's what's important here.
I'm Meghna Chakrabarty. This is On Point. But Attorney General Healy, if I can just press you here for a second, I'm looking at, the dates are really important here. You lay out clearly in the complaint that you're looking at Purdue's actions in Massachusetts after 2007. And again, Purdue is saying, well, look, between 2007 and 2012, they had been submitting these reports to the Department of Health and Human Services about their business practice, about their sales and business practice. So are you saying that the federal government may have missed something here?
Well, I'm not going to comment on that, and I don't know all of what the federal government was looking at. What I do know is what we've been looking at the last 3 years of our investigation, and what I do know is that Purdue's own documents from 2007 forward lay bare what transpired here in terms of its sales and marketing practices. I mean, at one point in 2012, an internal employee of Purdue got so frustrated with what was happening, with particularly the just ongoing incessant direction and control to get these opioid products to market and out there, that the VP of sales sent an email to the then CEO saying, quote, anything you can do to reduce the direct control of Richard into the organization is appreciated. I mean, there was so much pressure. There was so much focus on this. And, again, what I think are the benefit of this lawsuit, okay, and this complaint, we've done something that hasn't been done before. And that is to go through and look at all the documentation and to lay out in the complaint, based on Purdue's own words, what it is that happened chronologically here. And it's why we've brought this case.
Now, Christine Williamson, let me turn back to you here, because as you've combed through this particular complaint here, there's another part that I know that stood out to you about Purdue's marketing practices. Something about cards, or remind me about discount cards that Purdue handed
This was
out?
my
Tell us
HIV
the story.
doctor.
Yeah, sure. So, A.G. Healy makes a good point. In 2007,
every
they
6
agreed to
months.
not do certain things, and so they were under the apparently watchful eye of the federal government. But it was almost within months of signing that and paying that fine that they developed this discount card program, which basically allowed people that couldn't afford OxyContin to afford it. And in many respects, there's a lot of pharmaceutical companies that do this. They give you a discount so that you can afford their drug and treat whatever ailment or condition you have. But behind the scenes, allegedly,
I'm going to ask him about starting
they
my
were
psych
keeping
meds
track
again.
of the people that were on these cards, understanding that they'd stay on them longer. Like, one of the statistics they had internally was that the savings card, this discount you get on the prescriptions, that savings card led to 60% more people remaining on the drug for longer than 90 days. And the significance of that is that, for example, in Massachusetts, the Department of Public Health says anyone that was on OxyContin for longer than 90 days had a 30 times more likely chance of overdosing.
Barry Meyer, we've got about a minute and a half left here to go. I'm just wondering, as we move forward, we've got 35 plus states who are trying to take legal action against Purdue. 1,500 cities and
I hope your
counties,
doctor's
at
appointment.
least, at last
I
count.
don't know when yours is up, when you have yours, but I hope yours
Do you think that,
get good news.
that there's now sort of a critical mass of evidence that might bring the circle of liability closer around the Sacklers as individual members in this bigger story of opioid addiction in the United States?
Well, I think the history of every major litigation over a controversial product, be it tobacco, be it asbestos, it always comes to a turning point. It may be decades, maybe years, whatever, where the wall starts to crack and the truth starts to seep out and internal documents become public. And I applaud Attorney General Healy for making these documents public. We are in the midst of a huge public health disaster. Corporations have played a role in creating and allowing this disaster to continue. And I think the history of this disaster, of this tragedy, needs to be written in full. At the end of the day, maybe the Sacklers will turn out to be, bandits. Maybe they'll turn out to be wonderful people who have been miscast.
Yeah.
But we need to know the truth. That's the debt that we owe to all the people whose loved ones died and suffered as a result of this epidemic.
Well, Attorney General Healy, we've got about 30 seconds left. I'll give you the last thought today.
You know, Magna, this is about the truth. This is about the facts. My job as an attorney general is to do the investigation and to bring issues forward that affect the lives of people here in the state. I can't think of an issue that has more deeply touched so many families, not just in Massachusetts, but around this country. And so I encourage people to take a look at our complaint, and I just want families out there to know that we will do everything we can in our power to make sure that there is justice for the loved ones they've lost and for the loved ones who currently suffer from this disease of addiction.
Well, we'll have links to the complaint and Purdue Pharma's statement in response, all at onpointradio.org. I just want to thank all of you for joining us today. Attorney General Maura Healey, Christine Williamson, and Barry Meyer, thank you all. I'm Meghna Chakrabarty. This is On Point.
On Point is a production of WBUR Boston and NPR.
Support for On Point comes from the Museum of Science in Boston, providing pre-K through grade 12 engineering
That
curriculum
sounds like good
from
news.
We Engineer to Engineering the Future with teacher guides, storybooks, kits, and videos, all designed to fuel dynamic STEM education. More at MOS.org. And Linguistica 360 with News in Slow Spanish, News in Slow French, Italian, and German programs. Weekly language learning shows with discussion of current events. More at newsinslow.com. News in Slow, language learning through current events.
I'm Meghna Chakrabarty. Coming up on the next On Point, Pope Francis publicly acknowledges the sexual abuse of nuns by priests and bishops. Worldwide, nuns are speaking out on the newest scandal for the Catholic Church. Plus, a tech writer spent 6 weeks trying to block Amazon, Facebook, Google, Microsoft, and Apple from her life completely. She found out it's impossible. That's coming up on the next On Point from NPR.
Late. Supposed to be there right now.
You're listening to the Ideas Network. Larry Mueller's next, and stay with us at 12:30 for Chapter a Day, as Cynthia Woodland reads from Just Mercy, a story of justice and redemption by Brian Stevenson.
On Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me, we invite accomplished people on our show to answer the truly difficult questions. Their reaction is refreshing.
The next time you have questions like that, ask somebody else.
All right. At least we try. Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me, the news quiz from NPR.
Saturday morning at 9 and Sunday at noon on Wisconsin Public Radio.
I don't know, we're probably about 10 minutes from being there.
It's 11 o'clock.
AM 970, FM 90.9 and 107.9. WHA Madison, the Ideas Network. Find us at WPR.org.
Last week's super cold temperatures were pretty hard on humans, and we're going to take a look today at how animals might have been affected. Larry Mueller here. Thanks for joining us today on the Ideas Network.
Hope you're okay after your wreck.
We're talking to our guests about how wildlife adapts to winter extremes like that polar vortex. David Drake and Jamie Knack back with us once again. David, professor of forest and wildlife ecology at UW-Madison. He's also a UW Extension wildlife specialist. Jamie is a UW Extension senior wildlife outreach specialist within that same Department of Forest and Wildlife Ecology. And besides those temperatures, we'll talk about the rough grouse situation. Some were found with West Nile virus. Take a look at a workshop that will help estate and succession planning for family-owned woodlands. All that and a whole lot more. Join in at 1-800-642-1234. Back after the news.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Lakshmi Singh. The Democratic Attorney General of Virginia is the latest official in the highest ranks of state government to acknowledge that he wore blackface. Mark Herring has issued a statement. He says it was part of a costume he wore to a party in 1980. Herring acknowledges his actions were callous and reflected, as he put it, an inexcusable lack of awareness and insensitivity to the pain his behavior could inflict on others. Herring says he accepts full responsibility for his actions. This comes days after the public learned that Democratic Governor Ralph Northam's 1984 yearbook page had a picture of a man in blackface and another wearing KKK garb. Meanwhile, the Lieutenant Governor, Justin Fairfax, is fighting sexual assault allegations over an encounter with a woman years ago. Time is running out for congressional negotiators to avert another partial government shutdown. NPR's Windsor Johnson reports members of Congress are working toward a February 15th deadline to resolve the impasse over President Trump's demand for a southern border wall.
In his State of the Union address, Trump reiterated the need for a physical barrier along the southern border, despite objections from congressional Democrats.
Now is the time for Congress to show the world that America is committed to ending illegal immigration and putting the ruthless coyotes, cartels, drug dealers, and human traffickers out of business.
Congressional negotiators have until next Friday to come up with a spending plan Trump will support. If they fail, the partial government shutdown that could resume. The president could also declare a national emergency to secure the funding he needs for a wall. Windsor Johnston, NPR News, Washington.
The Democratic governor of New Mexico is ordering National Guard troops back from the state's border with Mexico in a rebuke of President Trump's plan to deploy more service members to the southern border. Governor Grisham announced last night that she was withdrawing the majority of the 118 National Guard forces sent to the border at the order of her Republican predecessor. In last night's State of the Union address, President Trump announced a plan to end HIV transmission in the United States in the next 10 years. NPR's Selena Simmons-Duffin has more.
The Department of Health and Human Services is following up today with specifics on how the administration would like to reach that goal. Here's Admiral Brett Giroir, Assistant Secretary for Health.
We're going to diagnose all people as early as possible. We're going to treat the infection rapidly and effectively. We're going to protect those at highest risk. We're going to respond to any outbreaks with overwhelming force. And we're going to create a public health workforce throughout this country.
What's not yet clear is how much all of this will cost and whether Congress will appropriate what's needed to implement the plan. Selena Simmons-Duffin.
Ignore this guy. He still didn't mention U equals U.
This is NPR News.
Or prep.
The music streaming service Spotify says it is acquiring the podcasting companies Gimlet Media and Anchor. NPR's Petra Mayer has more.
The move is a major step into original content for Spotify. Gimlet is a network that includes the popular shows Reply All and Crimetown. The second season of Crimetown ran exclusively on Spotify last October. Anchor is an app that helps people produce and distribute their podcasts. In a blog post, Spotify co-founder Daniel Ek said he expects that over time more than 20% of all of the companies listening will be non-music content, though he was careful to say that Spotify was still committed to music. No terms were announced for the deal, but the website Recode put the price for Gimlet alone at around $230 million. And in a message to investors, Spotify said it's planning to spend between $400 and $500 million in podcast acquisitions this year. Petra Mayer, NPR News, Washington.
As General Motors moves ahead with laying off more than 4,000 of its employees in North America, the automaker is posting a more than $8 billion net profit for 2018. It got a boost from better prices for vehicles sold in the United States. The latest snapshot of the nation's trade gap reveals the deficit narrowed toward the end of 2018. The Commerce Department reporting today U.S. imports fell faster than exports, shrinking the deficit from a revised $55.7 billion in October to $49.3 billion in November. The Dow is down 17 points at 25,394. This is NPR News.
Support for NPR comes from NPR stations. Other contributors include Noom, offering a personalized weight loss program that uses psychology and small goals to change habits with the goal of losing weight and keeping it off for good. Learn more at Noom, Noom.com.
Support for WPR comes from the Milwaukee Symphony. Violinist Blake Pouliot performs Bruch's Scottish Fantasy, plus the Hebrides Overture and Walton's First Symphony at the Marcus Center this Friday and Saturday. MSO.org. Include WPR in your social media mix. Find us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter for Wisconsin news, links, and photos from programs and hosts. Find all our social media links at WPR.org/community.
Almost there.
Great to have you with us here on the Ideas Network, and it's time to take a look at the world of wildlife here in Wisconsin. I'm Larry Miller. Couple of guests for you. They come by every 2 months, as a matter of fact, to talk about wildlife. One of them, David Drake, is in the studio with me, professor of forest and wildlife ecology at UW-Madison and a UW Extension wildlife specialist. David, good to see you again.
Good to see you as well, Larry. Thank you.
With us by phone today, Jamie Knack. Jamie is a UW Extension senior wildlife outreach specialist in the Department of Forest and Wildlife Ecology at UW-Madison. Jamie with us by phone. Jamie, thanks for joining us.
No problem. Thanks for having me, Larry.
What the heck are you doing away from the studio?
Yeah, what are you doing?
Yeah, what am I doing, right? So I am at the Max McGraw Wildlife Foundation this week, and that is in Dundee, Illinois. And I am an instructor and mentor for a week-long course for natural resource professionals to learn more about hunting awareness and some conservation education. So we've got a group of, about a dozen instructors and about 20 natural resource professionals from state and federal agencies across the country here taking workshop with us.
You didn't drag Scott Craven along with you, did you?
He happens to be here. I tried to get him to join me on the radio, but he is attending to some other important...
Listen, Jamie does not have an easy time overseeing Craven. She is the one who has to sit Craven right now, and that is not an easy task. Trust us.
Well, let's turn from what you're up to and what Scott Craven is up to what the wildlife have been up to. We had some pretty extreme temperatures last week. Normally, animals are able to handle short periods, I would think.
Yeah, I think it was certainly not pleasant. I was out quite a bit during the entire vortex for a variety of reasons, to walk my dog or whatever the case may be. Oh, you not miserable. Very adapted. They're going to stay up here for the winter time and be active during the winter time. But they're very adapted. If you're a mammal, you've got a pretty thick coat on your body. That's a nice thing to have. Animals like birds, we've got a high metabolism, so they run pretty hot to begin with. As long as they can continue to find food and replace the energy or calories they're burning to stay warm, then they're going to be just fine. And animals will do a whole bunch of other things too. Obviously they'll get out of the wind so that they're not it's not as cold. If the sun's out, even though it's a really cold day, if they're out of the wind but in the sun, they're absorbing solar radiation, so that will help them stay warm. There are certainly microclimates, or what we call microclimates. So they may go and just bed down in a cattail marsh or in a thick vegetation, and that acts as kind of a blanket for them. And then obviously if we have snow on the ground, you've got small mammals that are what we call subnivean, so they're underneath the snow, and that snow is actually very warm. Again, it's like an insulating blanket.
All right, thank you all for joining me.
If you're going to stay up
Jason is a social scientist. I'm clean as a whistle. It's shower number 253. We'll be back for By Mouth Daily tonight, pill number 820. All right, I love you. Mwah!